Announce yourself now. The police dog will be used to search. If this dog finds you, she will bite you.
Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to be on the run from the law and actively hunted by a police dog while hiding in a building? Well, in today's video, I'm going to break down the building search and show you exactly what Andii sees from her perspective. I'll point out some things we handlers look for, and I'll even show a real story from the road about how this particular skill set saved my life. Now, I know many people have mixed opinions on dogs in police service, and while I think every opinion is valid in its own way, I'm just speaking from my own lived experience that without dogs in law enforcement, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today. My stories from the road are intended to stir emotion and may give you chills, but I at least hope it causes you to take a second to consider the importance of patrol dogs in police work. If you'd like to support this mission and help me spread the word, like the video or drop a comment below. Both go a really long way and are really appreciated.
Alright guys, so here I am with Andii prepping to go into the training area for today, or what we call the shoot house. This is a simulated building made out of 2x4 and plywood. The shoot house was built specifically for all different types of police training, and today I'll be using it to run Andii through some building search specific drills. But first I wanted to throw on the Andii cam and have her do a quick building search so I could point out a couple things. And just prior to beginning any training event, I always like to give Andii a break, an opportunity to use a little girl's room and to just shake out the pregame jitters. This helped to vent any pent-up anxiety she may have built up being cooped up in the car, and it also made it less likely that she'd relieve herself inside the building and have me scrubbing floors instead of training. I never really had a set amount of time that I let her go. I kind of just gave her her ball, let her do her thing, and once it looked like she was ready to get the show on the road, we'd head in and get after it. Alright, so here's how a real building search begins. Before we ever step foot inside, we treat every corner, every doorway, every shadow like it could hide a threat. That's why we always make a clear announcement. This isn't just a formality. This protects everyone involved, warns anyone inside, and it gives them a chance to surrender peacefully. And it also legally establishes that a police dog may be deployed, and in our case, potentially put teeth on somebody. When I give Andii the command, she switches from pet to partner. Watch how fast she gets into work mode. First thing she does is clear the threshold. Dogs naturally want to run inside, but police dog training teaches them to slow down just a little and check left, then right, then they get a chance to move forward. One thing we're watching for is their body language. As she's searching through this building, watch her nose. You'll see that little sniff scan pattern she occasionally does while working through the different rooms in this shoot house. She's sampling the air, trying to catch human odor. Humans can't smell it, but Andii can smell skin cells drifting in the air from 20, 30, even 40 feet away. This is a very valuable tool we use when searching buildings for people in hiding. Andii's trained to check the places a person would normally hide, around corners, behind furniture, tight spaces, under desks, anywhere someone could hide and potentially ambush us. While she's doing this, my job is to let her lead the way, but also to watch her back. The canine handler has to trust the dog, but you can't just blindly follow each other either. I've got her back, she's got mine. We protected each other, we kept each other safe, we kept each other alive. Now from the handler's perspective, this is what I was commonly looking for. Sudden head snaps, tail going stiff, her slowing her movement, deep, shallow, rapid sniffing in one direction, shifting of her body weight forward. Those were some of the early signs that she was detecting something that I couldn't see yet. We called them proximity alert or proximity alert behaviors. When she doesn't find anyone in a room, she kind of naturally relaxed a little bit. Her breathing would change, her pace would change, she'd kind of slow down a little bit, and she'd usually drift back toward me. That was kind of her way of saying, this room's cleared out, let's get on to the next one. So with this being a sterile training event, I'm going to insert a clip from a video I recorded of what it looks like when Andii shows an alert. Alright, so pay attention. Now here's the part most people don't realize. The most dangerous spot in a building search is the doorway. So again, I let her go first. Her senses beat mine every single time. So if you watch closely, you'll see that head snap is her catching the odor. That's the instant she goes from searching to locating. She's locking in on where the human scent is strongest, and in this case is behind the door. There was a person hiding inside of the closet, so that's where the scent was the strongest. And if this was the real world, this exact moment right here would tell me danger is seconds away. This is the final stage, her alert. She's telling me, there's a person right here, Dad, get ready. On a real call, this moment is absolutely everything, and it's the moment that saved my life. I always made sure to end the training event with a short obedience session, which gave me an excuse to give her a reward, especially in a sterile building search where she doesn't necessarily get the reward or the release of getting to apprehend a suspect. So here I just walked with her in a heel for a little bit, and then I gave her favorite thing, which was the rubber rope and ball. Kind of my way of telling her you can relax, you can let your guard down a little bit, and good job.
Now that you've seen how a building search works, I want to tell you about a night where everything that you just watched was put together and meant the difference between life or death for me. It was late, just after midnight, and we got a call about a possible break-in at a commercial building Nothing unusual, just a regular routine alarm drop. But the second I pulled up, I knew something about this one was different. When we got there, the main entry door was slightly cracked open. Not kicked in, not damaged, just hanging open. In a way that's almost worse because that means that someone's still inside and maybe waiting for you. Still, the building was completely silent. No movement, no footsteps, just darkness. We got to the doorway, I put Andii on it down. I was about 2 or 3 officers back in the stack, and I made the canine announcement exactly like I showed you earlier, word for word. Nothing. As soon as we stepped inside, something about this one felt wrong. It just felt off or different in some way. You do this job long enough and you learn to trust your instincts, and at this point, mine were screaming at me. But Andii, she was calm, focused, working just like she always did. We moved into the building and we started clearing rooms one by one, starting at the threshold. We moved into the empty office space, the lobby areas, the bathrooms, the closets, nothing. One thing I can remember is the further we moved into the building, the heavier the air felt, like the building itself was holding its breath. And then it happened. Andii froze mid-step, began to stare without moving towards an open area like an interior garage. There was multiple cars in it, tools, shelves, and just a bunch of different junk everywhere. And after a short period of time of staring in that direction, she immediately bolted right towards the darkest part of the room. At that point, I put her in a down as me and the contact team worked our way up to her because I knew she was telling me something. Once we got to where Andii was in a down, she lifted her head, took a really deep breath, and her entire body locked as she pointed towards the back corner of the room. There was a vehicle parked in the back corner, blocking my view of the remainder of the room in a way that I couldn't see the deep corner inside of the garage area of this building. I couldn't see anything. Nothing moved, but I knew she felt something. I grabbed hold of Andii's harness and I shouted a couple more canine announcements, really hoping that if somebody was in there, that they'd call out and just surrender peacefully. So after a short period of time with no response, I released Andii to check the remainder of the building. She ran around a corner, kind of jumped over the vehicle, and went out of my sight. I took a couple steps to the right. At that point, I noticed that there was like a sheet metal was leaned up against the far corner of the room, and that's when I heard a really loud commotion, yelling, and I knew that she had made contact with someone. I trusted her. I always trusted her, so I got low, moved slowly toward her, shifted my flashlight in the direction, and at first I couldn't see anything, just shadows. As I made my way around the vehicle, I could see underneath this panel that it was covering a pile of clothing, and that's when I saw it. And in their hand, it looked like a large, flat piece of metal. It looked like a knife. It wasn't a knife, but it looked like a large, flat piece of metal or a screwdriver. I couldn't exactly tell just due to the darkness at that point in time. He was waiting. He'd been completely silent. And if Andii hadn't shown me these behaviors and alerted to his position, I would have walked right past him. He would have been behind me and the team, and who knows what would have happened from there. There was a fight occurring between Andii and the subject while she was doing what she does to get people into custody. The result was she received multiple puncture wounds in her face and on a couple of her paws. And fortunately, she wasn't seriously injured. I was able to rush her right to the emergency vet. She was able to get stitched up, and we were eventually able to wrestle the weapon away from this person and get them into custody without any further incident or injury to anyone. But in this job, 1 second can decide if you make it home or not. Andii bought me and the team that second. She felt the danger in the air before I even processed what I was looking at. She charged straight towards the danger. She put herself between an offender's blade and potentially human lives, and for that I'm forever grateful to her. I've replayed those moments in my head more times than I can count, and every single time I come to the same conclusion: I'm alive because of her. She didn't hesitate. She never does. She didn't second guess. She did exactly what she's trained to do, and she protected me without ever knowing how much those moments would impact my life. Andii's retired now, but I'm still here because of her. And what she did on nights like those, I'll never forget, and I'll never be able to repay her for. It's like those changed the way that I look at this job and the way that I look at this dog. She's more than just a dog. She's more than just a partner. She's part of my family. And that's why I wanted to share this story, because every canine team in this country, there's hundreds or thousands of moments exactly like these, moments that define everything. Are you hungry? My mission with this channel and with videos like these are to share the invaluable part these four-legged heroes play in law enforcement, and to do my part to ensure that not one more dog that's dedicated its entire life to service just retires and fades into obscurity. My stories from the road are intended to stir emotion and may give you chills, but I at least hope it causes you to take a second to consider the importance of patrol dogs in police work. If you'd like to support this mission and help me spread the word, like the video or drop a comment below. Both go a really long way and I really appreciate it.